Joining us now, Brandon Howard. He's a veteran. He's also was the 4th Congressional District Coordinator for the Trump campaign, and he believes there was an attempt to assassinate him. Brandon Howard, good to have you with us, man.
Thank you, John.
Tell our audience the story of what happened.
Well, it's pretty simple. Back in September of last year, I received 8 nails in 6 weeks to my tires. Of course, somebody was sabotaging my tires, so I reported it to the police in September and October.
Mm-hmm.
At that same time, I was receiving phone calls from people with messages such as all Trump supporters must die and things of that nature. Again, reported to the police. Plus all the vandalism I had going on in the district, we reported those incidents to the police. What I did not know until Monday of last week, that somebody went under my vehicle and loosened the bleeder valve on my brakes to slowly drip out my brake fluid to cause me to lose brakes, wreck my car, kill me, and make it look like an accident. The way we found that out, in October, I had a friend of mine put front brake pads on my car, and then he told me, your brake fluid's low. And the reservoir was really low, so we filled it up. And then again, right before Thanksgiving in November, my brake lights came on, and then my brake fluid was low again. I'm not a mechanic. I don't know about cars, so I just kept putting brake fluid in it. Then I took my car in for its annual inspection. The dealer told me I needed a new front caliper, which was going to cost me $500 roughly. And I said, well, I get it cheaper done elsewhere, so I called a local mechanic in the area. And Monday, took my car to the local mechanic shop. He came out 30 minutes after having my car and told me there's nothing wrong with my brakes. That's the good news. The bad news is someone went under my vehicle and loosened that bleeder valve. And the only way they told me it could be loosened is with a wrench because they're designed not to vibrate free. So I went to the police department. It's not only me who thinks someone was trying to kill me. It's the opinion of the police as well. And looking at the time frame of when we first noticed the brake reservoir was almost empty, being mid-October, it's estimated sometime the end of September, at the same time I'm getting the phone calls and the flat tires and the vandalisms, is when that valve was opened.
So, Brandon Howard, people putting nails in your tires, you attributed that to the fact that you were the Trump for President campaign coordinator for the 4th District, right?
Well, not at the time. I was just thought, because I was running for local office at the same time. I am the chairman of the Republican Party for the city here in Hopewell, Virginia. So I was writing off somebody as being stupid. Same thing with the vandalisms against the Trump campaign and our field headquarters for the RNC that we had in Hopewell, with all the harassing and threatening phone calls I was receiving. So, yeah, when we lay out all the different items that have happened, it all relates to me, as even in the opinion of the police, that I was targeted for being the coordinator for the 4th Congressional District here in Virginia on the Trump campaign.
Right, and you were also the Republican chairman of Hopewell, and you also ran for city council as a Republican in Hopewell in November. So obviously you were a noted figure. People know who you are. Hopewell, of course, a suburb outside of Richmond, just south of Richmond. Not that big of a town. I mean, people do know who other people are. It's not like you're in the middle of Manhattan. All right, so somebody targeted your tires, obviously, because you got nails in them several times. So you attributed that to just politics. You're the Republican chairman. You're running for council. You're for Trump. You got bumper stickers on your vehicle, and that's bad. But now we get to a situation where you've got your mechanic and the police saying, look, somebody tampered with your vehicle, got underneath it, loosened up your bleeder valve. The object is let the brake fluid leak out. You're going down the interstate 65 miles an hour one day, no brakes, right? I mean, this is serious stuff. You could have had your family there. What else did the Hopewell police have to say, Brandon?
Well, right now the police are doing everything they can. I mean, with the phone calls, they go back to burn phones. Any evidence what would have been under my vehicle when Wayland's Automotive were checking my brakes and had to clean that area to find out what was leaking. It was all wiped away. So right now they're doing everything they can do with very little to go on. So they're putting surveillance up, running more patrols in the area. I'm putting cameras on the house, floodlighting on the house, because the most likely scenario of how this happened, I live on a dark street in a pretty decent neighborhood. The most likely scenario was late at night. One or two people, probably two people, drove down the road prior to getting to my house, let the passenger out, walked down the street, went underneath my car late at night, shined the light on the bleeder valves, took a wrench, and turned it just enough to cause it to start to drip. Got back out from under my car, down the street to the next intersection, picked up with the driver and gone. The whole 5-minute process.
So this had to
late
be
at night on a dark street.
Right. So this had to be a planned attack. It also had to be somebody that knew a little bit about vehicles. Like, I mean, I wouldn't know what a bleeder valve is or anything. So somebody had to know how to do it. Plus, they had to have the right wrench.
Correct.
Which isn't something that you just find in a toolbox at Lowe's, right? I mean, it's a certain.
They would have to know the size of the nut on the bleeder valve for my Jeep Liberty to have that proper wrench with them to be able to do it in a very fast manner, as it most likely was done. And it probably was not done during the day or out in public. It's something they wanted to do covertly. So the most likely scenario is, again, they did it late at night in front of my house.
Unbelievable. Look, we're going to keep our eye on this, Brandon. I'm going to do a story on it. I appreciate you coming on today, and stay safe. I know you're on your way to work. You work for the Army, right?
Correct. I work for the Department of the Army.
All right. Brandon Howard works for the Department of an Army veteran. The police in Hopewell think he is potentially a target for assassination by people that don't like Trump. I mean, this is unbelievable what is going on out here. I mean, it's scary. Hang in there, man. Keep that surveillance on, and we'll be following this story. This is the John Fredericks Radio Network. I'll be right back.